What do people find when they search for you online? Let's see. Okay, so when people search for me, they find my Google Plus profile and this Google site that I've made to represent my work. They find my page at Ohio University. They find my father's law firm. They find some research that I was involved in after that. Okay, so let's look at these first two. Actually, let's look at these first three. So here's the Google Plus profile. It automatically goes to the posts, but there's also an about page, which is where you can talk a little bit about yourself. So I have an introduction, a brief bio, places I've worked, where I've lived, and then links to other profiles, and then down here at the bottom I have links to papers I've written and collaborated on, and then links to other pages I've made. Okay, so a nice thing about this is that it makes it relatively easy to find me. Links that go to this page um, helps organize sort of the search profile for myself, so that it makes it easier if people are looking for me in particular. They find all the things that are related to me in particular and not to someone else. Also have this page here. You can see that the images on it are fairly similar. What this is this is just a site in the style of a wiki that is a template in Google Sites. And so a nice thing about this is it's easy to have pages that are devoted to different topics. And so I have a main page here. It says a bio, talks briefly about my research, my teaching, and then also some resources for advising. But you can see there's a more detailed page on research. And so I have this organized thematically in the same way that I've written up recently for review materials. And then I have a page on teaching that lists the current courses that I'm teaching, and also the ones coming up in the spring. Some thoughts on teaching down there as well. And then you can see here on the left there are links to each of the classes that I'm teaching, kind of numbered in order that they go in terms of from class level, from introductory sociology up to graduate level in social research methods. And so if we click on that, then we can find the syllabus for the course and the course schedule and other related items for that course. Let's see. And the other thing you find when you search for me is you find my university information, which is similar. The structure is different, and it also has links to papers and that sort of thing, but has similar content to the other two. But the big downside of that is that it's time consuming to edit that. Whereas I can just show up here, click the edit page button, and make any changes I want to any of these pages. And similarly, it's easy for me to edit my own profile here. So what might you want to include, like say you're a graduate student or something? Well, one thing to do is to think about, you might want to kind of clarify who you are and where you're at, right? So that's kind of what this is doing here. You might also provide links to other things that people who are looking for you might be trying to find, like a profile, research, or course-related stuff. And then I talk a bit about my interests. So as a graduate student, you might not have research done yet. That's fine. But you will have interests, right? So you might want to express those. Maybe take 2 sentences about that. You might also be interested in finding other people that are interested in those same things. So that might be part of what you include there. You can't link to research if you don't have it done yet, but you could link to research that does interest you, so you could connect to things that you think are important. You could also connect to things that you use in, in your work. It makes it easier for you to find those things, so you can kind of use this as a start page in a way. And then you could also, the other profiles and things here could be integrated too, like if you have a profile at LinkedIn and stuff like that. If you already have a profile at LinkedIn, you could just copy some of the content from that and put it here. One of the advantages of having it in both places is that you can't view profiles in LinkedIn unless you're logged into LinkedIn, whereas you can view profiles here. They can come up in search results, so it makes you a little bit, or actually probably a lot easier to find. And so finally, I'm going to look at some profiles for students that I've worked with. This is a student who's an undergraduate at Ohio University and is now a graduate student at University of Washington, and she has a kind of very sort of minimal sort of history sort of thing and doesn't have her interests there posted yet. This is Michael Dickard, also a student from Ohio University who's now at Drexel University and needs to update his information a little bit. But nonetheless, he has information about kind of what he does and what he's interested in. This is kind of a good amount, I think. He has a good tagline here. It does a good job of expressing what his interests are. So that's a good thing to think about doing. And he's kept it pretty brief, which is probably a good idea. Um, Brandon has a bit more verbose here and is a bit kind of more reflective, which is interesting to see. And he's also talks about things he's been involved in and where he's at, what he's doing, and some of the research and professional and kind of personal related things that he's been involved in, and shows different places where he's lived. So anyways, as a student, a graduate student, or an undergraduate student, you might want to make it easier for people to find the you in particular rather than somebody else, and you might want to organize that with links coming in to a page like this and going out to other pages that are related to you and not someone else with the same name. All right, thanks.